Look, a lot of you are bitching, whining, and complaining that people actually charge for stuff. Well, that's loser mentality, first off. If you go to a McDonald's and you want to get a hamburger, you don't bitch, whine, and complain that they actually ask you for money. They produce a hamburger, they give it to you, you exchange, and you give them money. When somebody says, do you want consulting for an hour? Oh, you're going to charge me? You go to a lawyer and say, I need to get some lawyer advice for an hour. Yeah, they charge money for that. If you go to an accountant, they charge money for their time. If you will get a massage, the masseuse says, I have to charge for my time. If you want information and knowledge that somebody has spent millions of dollars to get and decades to accumulate, why do you think they should give it to you for free? I'll tell you why you think that. Because you are a loser. You are a loser. You are a loser.
A loser!
This is the Kevin Trudeau Show.
I am exposing the corruption in government and in major multinational corporations. We're telling you the things that they don't want you to know that will make your life better. Make sure that you leave some comments, and I will tell you strongly, go to Rumble and subscribe to the Kevin Trudeau Show on Rumble, on Spotify, on Apple Podcasts. Also, the reason is we're probably going to get shut down on YouTube at some point because the censorship is out of control. I'm trying to keep this show subject and content, nothing controversial, but they're going to say it's misinformation. I mean, automatic. We know it's going to happen. But on Rumble, thank the Lord, they don't have that misinformation BS. So I can and I am putting up stuff on Rumble on subjects that you want me to talk about, that I can't talk about here on YouTube, but I am talking about on Rumble. So make sure you go to Rumble and subscribe there and hit the little bell button there. There's a little icon for notifications. Make sure you set up notifications here on YouTube and set them up on Rumble and set them up on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. So when I post something new, and I'm going to start posting things every day. I'm going to start posting 20-minute, 30-minute audio or video shows and updates every day. That way you'll know when something new is posted. Also, make sure you become a member of my social media, the Kevin Trudeau Show, social media on Facebook and Instagram and X. What other ones are out there? Telegram, join the Kevin Trudeau Fan Club Telegram channel. It's all free material. Look, a lot of you are bitching, whining, and complaining that people actually charge for stuff. Well, that's loser mentality, first off. If you go to a McDonald's and you want to get a hamburger, you don't bitch, whine, and complain that they actually ask you for money. They produce a hamburger, they give it to you, you exchange, and you give them money. When somebody says, do you want consulting for an hour? Oh, you're going to charge me? You go to a lawyer and say, I need to get some lawyer advice for an hour. Yeah, they charge money for that. If you go to an accountant, they charge money for their time. If you will get a massage, the masseuse says, I have to charge for my time. If you want information and knowledge that somebody has spent millions of dollars to get and decades to accumulate, why do you think they should give it to you for free? I'll tell you why you think that. Because you are a loser. You are a loser. You are a loser. That's why. You have poverty mentality. You have give me, give me, give me, give me, give me. You think everything should be a handout. And that's why you'll always be a loser. Think about it. I remember I was at a seminar one time. There's a guy up there talking, and he was talking about success. And I was taking notes, and I'm thinking this guy kind of knows a little bit about success. And the reason I knew he knew a little bit about success is when he first came in, he said, if you didn't make $10 million last year, sit down and shut up. And everybody in the room sat down and shut up. This was back in the late 70s. That was a lot of money. It's a lot of money today. Imagine how much it was back then. And he started teaching some success principles. And after about an hour, he said, now, I'm going to teach a 5-day course on these success principles. Now, I was living in Boston, Massachusetts at the time. This was in the late 70s. I mean, I'm a young man here. Haven't traveled much. And he said, the seminar is going to be held in Los Angeles, California. And the first thing that popped into my mind was, that's too far. That's too far. And then he said, and I'm going to charge you $10,000 for the week. This is back in the late 70s. That's huge money. That's $100,000 today. And I think, that's way too much money. And then he said this. He says, now some of you think that going to Los Angeles is too far. And some of you think $10,000 is too much money. He says, and that's why you're a loser and you'll always be a loser. And it was like a slap. And I thought, I'm going to that seminar. Look, successful people are willing to do what the other guy ain't willing to do. Successful people are willing to sacrifice. Successful people are willing to make a commitment to themselves and make a decision to succeed. Successful people understand that you have to put in first before you get out. They understand that you have to plant seeds first, and otherwise you don't get a harvest. You have to sow before you reap. You have to put wood into a wood cook stove before it'll give you heat. You have to put money into a bank before they'll give you money. You have to put in first before you get. You have to put in time and effort into exercise before you see the results. You have to put time and money and effort into something before you get a return. Successful people understand that. If you go back in time, one of the great differences between very successful people and people that are losers is a successful person doesn't want a handout. A loser expects a handout and wants the government to take care of them and wants rich people to take care of them because that's loser mentality. Successful people have what's called pan-determinism. It means total determinism over everything. They are at cause over their environment. They take 100% responsibility to varying degrees, as close to 100% as possible, over their actions and what they have in their life. They don't blame others. They don't point the finger. They understand that if they point the finger at somebody, there's 3 fingers pointing directly back at them. You can manifest your goals, dreams, and desires. You can have a better life, but you have to start taking responsibility for this and stop blaming the government, blaming the taxation system, blaming the laws, blaming your boss, blaming the economy, blaming global warming, blaming this, blaming that, blaming blah, 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 blah. It doesn't matter. I remember Ed Foreman one time was speaking, and he was talking to his accountant. And his accountant said, well, Mr. Foreman, we're doing your taxes, and first off, I got some good news and bad news. The good news is your ready-mix concrete business had the best year you've ever had last year. Next, your restaurant business is 20% increase over the last year. It's had a substantial increase in sales and profits. Your real estate development business, although the real estate market has crashed, you've maintained the same level of income and profitability this year as you did last year. You didn't go down at all. And he says, that's the good news. The bad news is you get a whopping tax bill. And Ed says, well, I have no problem paying that tax bill. It's always good to have profits. And the accountant said, but Ed, I really don't understand it. You've had all this success last year, and we're in the middle of one of the worst recessions we've had in decades. How do you explain that? And Ed said, simple. I chose not to participate in the recession. Thanks for watching. Make sure you hit that subscribe button and share this with everyone you know. I'm Kevin Trudeau. Looking forward to seeing you Wednesday, 1 o'clock, Chicago time.